Hey, welcome back to KMMA. I'm Andy O,
And I'm Khalil Deal.
and we're here to bring you the main card portion of UFC Fight Night Paris. Starting off with, it'll be for the card Fares Ziam against Matt Frivola to open things off. Then we have Morgan Charrier against Gabriel Miranda, followed by Kevin Jousset against Brian Battle. Then we have Willem Gomis against Joanderson Brito. In the co-main event, we have Nasruddin Imavov against Brendan Allen. And for the main event, we have Renato Moisiano against Benoit Saint-Denis. All
Oh,
right. So to start things off, we got Fares Ziam and Matt Frivola. Who do you got for us here, real deal?
all right, man. So yeah, welcome back, KAMMA. We are talking about our early predictions for the main card, and Fares Ziam versus Matt Frivola was a tough one for me. Um, I'm going to tell you one thing though. You bet your ass I will have something on Matt Frivola because this guy's a tough motherfucker, man. The steamroller is tough as all hell. But he is getting up there in age at 34 years old. And Fares Ziam, I think he's just the more technical fighter in this one, the more technical striker. I think he's going to use his advantages. Now, what are his advantages? Number one, he's 7 years younger than Matt Frivola. What's his other advantage? He's going to be 4 inches taller than Matt Frivola. And finally, his last advantage, 4 inches of reach advantage for Fares Ziam. So I really think that he's going to use these things to his advantage in this one. Also, not to mention another advantage, he's fighting at home in France. This guy's a pretty good fighter, man. Both of these guys are good. Frivola's tough as fuck. But I think that we're starting to see now, and we mentioned this often in our shows, that you start to watch fighters get on a decline and start to decline and start to fall off. And I think that this is where we're starting to see Matt Frivola falling off. The last fight he lost to Benoit Saint Denis by knockout. Benoit Saint Denis is going to be the main event of this card, so that's not a bad loss there. But we could start to see that, he's starting to slow down. Um, he's always tough though, and always has knockout power. So I definitely like to put something on Matt Frivola by knockout or finish. Would be a very good idea to do. But I'm going to go with Fares Ziam in this one in his hometown. I think he gets the win here. I think what he's going to do is he's going to avoid the storm from Matt Frivola in the first round. I think he'll weather the storm. I think he'll stay at a distance. One thing about Fares Ziam, he fights in a way that he protects himself. He doesn't leave himself open, doesn't leave himself easy to get hit. Very, very low strikes
Absorbed. Yeah.
absorbed. Yeah, very low on strikes absorbed. He doesn't absorb many strikes in his fights. He tends to move on his feet. He moves around very quickly. He's very fast. He's evasive. He's got good boxing. He's got some good kicks. I think that Fares Ziam will keep this fight on the feet and will piece up Matt Frivola. I think he can even get a knockout, but I'll go with the decision win for Fares Ziam. I think he wins a decision in his hometown. I think he lands more strikes. I think he avoids getting taken down or avoids getting the heavy hits, and I think he wins a unanimous decision.
Yeah, I think the only way Frivola wins this actually is to, bull rush him at the beginning, maybe take him by surprise and just wail away and get something done that way for the obvious knockout. But as you mentioned before, younger, reach, height, and this guy is fantastic. Sorry, at managing reach. There are guys, most guys are not. This guy is like he's tremendous at it. He may be even more defensively when you brought up how good he is, at just positioning himself and eluding those shots. He may be better defensively than he even is offensively in getting the shots.
Yeah,
Um, this Frivola guy, he seems to be a killer be killed kind of fighter in the UFC.
yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if like he's reaching that point that you mentioned where he's starting to decline. But even still, like he gets knocked down like left and right in all his fights. He gets knocked out in his fights that he loses. And I think the best way to describe Zian is a no movement wasted type of fighter. That's the way I see him. And I think we're going to see that here. And he's going to pick up a decision or a knockout. Like, I think the knockout is live for ZM here.
Yeah, I think that as Matt Frivola moves, comes in, he might leave him. He also Matt Frivola likes to leave his head open to get shots, to get hit. So
Yeah.
that's where the counters also from Faraziem, counter strikes, and also
Mm.
straight jab punches to the face when he comes in, using that 4-inch reach advantage and the height advantage. I think that's it's going to be good for Faraziem for sure. Yeah, Matt.
Nice.
So we're both in agreement with Fares Ziem getting the win in his hometown here in France. All right, let's move on up. But like I said, Frivola is a good dog. We'll talk about the betting on Thursday. By the way, we are doing this earlier shows because I will be gone for the weekend. So we're doing the shows a little earlier. Monday is the early predictions, and then our final predictions will be on Thursday this week.
Khalil's going off fundraising for KMMA.
I wish. All right, Matt. So moving on up to the next fight. Andy O, who you got here against Morgan Charriere against Gabriel Miranda?
Okay, here, look, it's pretty clear, I think, that Charriere should get this win. Um, he's he has a lot of decisions, which is the thing that really bothers me about Morgan Charriere's. But there should be just a crazy advantage on the feet for Morgan Charriere here. It's going to be one of those fights where and he's against a Miranda here who, as some guys do, love to block punches with their face. And he has no striking defense at all. And he doesn't mind if you take him down. And that's the thing. I'll tell you right now, keep your eye on sub round 1 for Miranda when, they're drier, or even maybe within the first round and a half for Miranda, see how much that's worth. Because he's vicious.
I think Eddie O's hinting at a possible pearl.
I think so. I think so. We'll see the value. But I say it's very unlikely, although very possible for that early sub, if that makes sense. But I am solidly going with Morgan Charriere to get a decision or a knockout win here.
Right, I'm on the Morgan Charriere here as well. But Gabriel Miranda, very very dangerous submission specialist. Okay, let's not get it twisted. This guy has he has out of his 17 wins. You guys won't believe this, but he has 16 submissions.
And most of them are within the first round and a half, and most of those are in the first round.
I'll tell you one thing. When we talk about the betting on Thursday, I definitely will be putting a sprinkle on Miranda by submission. Okay,
and he has a great gilly. Remember what happened last time?
Yeah, you have to do it because of the fact that he has so many submissions out of his wins, and we're talking 16 out of 17 wins by submission is absolutely insane. But the pick is going to be Morgan Charriere. What I like about Morgan Charriere is that he could also wrestle. He's also decent on the ground. He's a striker.
Yeah.
He's a striker at first, but he can grapple and wrestle. And he's never been finished. I think Morgan Charriere has never been subbed. Let me double check that for you guys here. But yeah,
I know he's lost it.
He's been subbed only once. Well, that's kind of scary. But
no, he loves losing by decision. That's why.
Yeah, he lost the 9 fights by decision. He lost 1 by sub though, which was in the first round. So he's going to have to be careful. But he's never been knocked out. So Charriere, he's pretty good at avoiding a finish there. I like that he's 28 years old. He's going to be much younger than Gabriel Miranda. Also, he's going to be 3 inches shorter and have a 2-inch reach disadvantage there. So those are things to look out for. But yeah, Morgan Charriere is just 10 times better than Gabriel Miranda on the feet. The fights start on the feet. Charriere's got a very good takedown defense there. So Gabriel Miranda is going to do whatever it takes to try to take down Morgan Charriere. But I think if he doesn't get him down, that's where Gabriel Miranda is going to be at a disadvantage. Because if he can't get the fight to the ground,
no, he has to get it down somehow. It has to wind up there for him. Or
Charriere's going to piece him up on the feet, man. I would advise Morgan Charrier not to try to take down Miranda because Miranda will allow you to take him down. He wants people to take him down. He loves being on his back. He'll throw up subs from his back, try to get arm triangles from his back, or leg. He'll use his
Oh,
legs to try to get submissions.
another thing I forgot to mention, I like to mention the guys that are above average and high, high quality in terms of their body work, good body kicks, and Morgan Charrier is one of them. Great body kicks, had to throw that in.
That is true. Yeah, Morgan Charrier he has a lot of good punches and kicks to the body. He did that in the fight against Chepi Mariscal, where he landed a lot of body shots there as well. He did lose that one in split decision, which was kind of controversial there because a lot of people thought that Morgan Charrier won that fight, me included. I think I did have a bet on Chepe, which I had hedged, so I was okay. But I kind of thought that Morgan won that one. And it was a nicer brother ticket I think I had at the time going there, so I was pissed off about that loss. But yeah, I mean Morgan Charrier just hands down the better striker, the better boxer. He's going to be the tougher guy and land the harder punches. It's in France, his hometown, and again, if this fight goes the distance there, for sure Charrier gets the win. I think this fight's going to be KO or decision win for Charrier there. I think Gabriel Miranda does everything he can to try to latch in a sub, doesn't get it, tries to take him down, doesn't get it, and Charrier gets the win that way. So we're in agreement with Morgan Charrier, but for sure, folks, we'll talk about the betting. You got to put something on the sub for Miranda because anything can happen. All right, let's move on up to the next fight here. We got Kevin Jousset versus Brian Battle. What side are you on here, Andio?
All right, here, I've been going against Kevin Jousset, as you know, probably. And here, I'm going to go against him again, but I think he's going to get beaten this time, man. Brian Battle's another one of those guys that I think is improving a lot, and he'll go for those takedowns and get Jousset down. And I think Jousset, what would serve him well is to get Battle down and just try to hold him there. But Jousset, man, he's not Fakhretdinov. If you remember that Fakhretdinov fight against Brian Battle, that's the way he beat him. He had like 14 and a half minutes of control time. It was crazy.
The thing about Jousset, though, he's not a grappling guy. He's not a.
Yeah,
He doesn't really have any wrestling or grappling ability.
That's pretty much what I was going at. Poor
Yeah.
Jousset, he doesn't really have that here. And Brian Battle poses different challenges than Kenan Song and Kiefer Crosby, right? So yeah, give me Brian Battle to really, you know, he's gonna muck it up a little and do the battle thing. The guy used to be 400 pounds, so he knows what to do. And give me Brian Battle by decision or knockout.
Yeah, man, I like Brian Battle in this one too. Brian Battle is amazing, man. This guy is a superstar fighter. I find that he's really good. Kevin Jousset is pretty good, but the problem is that Kevin Jousset does not have any grappling. He doesn't really have much wrestling. He did get a sub on Kiefer Crosby, which was surprising. And he won a unanimous decision on Kenan Song there. But Battle's the better submission specialist there. That's for sure. He's got better subs and better jiu-jitsu. He's got better wrestling and grappling as well. I would strongly suggest that Kevin Jousset not try to take down Brian Battle because that's not a good idea. Brian Battle could definitely get out of any takedowns, get back up on his feet, and then or scramble on the ground and do a reverse and get on top of Jousset and maybe latch in a sub there. If you remember that last fight against Ange Loosa, where Ange Loosa went out like a bitch and was crying about an eye poke, and then after that, after crying about an eye poke, then he wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
After the fight was already over, and Brian Battle lost by no contest. That was an absolute bullshit fight. Brian Battle was piecing him up, was beating him the whole time, and then that accidental eye poke there, and then Ange Loosa crying like a baby there. So, but before that though, he's been looking really good. Brian Battle beat AJ Fletcher by submission and Gabe Green. He knocked Gabe Green out. The Fakhretdinov fight, yeah. I mean, Fakhretdinov is a relentless grappler and jiu-jitsu guy, and he's much bigger and stronger than Giuseppe. So I don't see, Giuseppe in the same league as Fakhretdinov for sure. And again,
Doucette's big, man. He's big though.
Giuseppe is big, but he's not as dangerous as Fakhretdinov, with his jiu-jitsu.
He's a kickboxer, Doucette.
That's it. So I think that this is a good fight for Battlefield to win here. I think, all the France fighters can't win, so, some of them have to lose. This is the one that Kevin just said. This is the France fighter that's going to lose. I got Brian Battle winning this one. He's got too much heart and grit. Just a good fighter overall, and he's got the takedowns and the jiu-jitsu in his back pocket. So there we go. In agreement with Brian Battle here. All right, let's move on up to the next fight. We got William Gomis against Joanderson Brito. Now, for this one here, I gotta go with Joanderson Brito, man. Joanderson Brito is just a fucking beast, man. He is a beast. He's a warrior. The guy's been killing it lately. He's good at everything. The guy can strike, he could box, he could wrestle, he could submit you.
He does everything with viciousness too.
Yeah, viciousness and power. William Gomis is also fairly decent. And he's going to have the height advantage there for Gomis. And he'll have, but the thing is, he won't have, that's what I find is kind of crazy. He's going to have a 3-inch height advantage, actually a 4-inch height advantage, but no reach advantage. And that's where a lot of these taller fighters, if they don't have the reach advantage, it doesn't really mean much that they're taller. You know what I mean? Because if you're taller, but your reach is the same as your other guy can hit you just as easily as you can. So
but sometimes if you're equal, one guy can have greater range management than the other and be way better at that style, so
Joanderson Brito, I see him taking down William Gomis, getting this fight to the ground where he's better at it. And the Chuto box, man, those guys are amazing. I got to go with Joanderson Brito to get a win by finish. I think he gets a KO or submission on William Gomis. I might do a nice little brother ticket. We'll talk about that in the bets there with Bolaji Oki and William Gomis, a nice underdog upset parlay brother ticket there. But I'll have a better brother ticket, of course, for you guys. We'll talk about that. But I think this underground one could work with Gomis and Bolaji. But no, my pick is definitely going to be... I definitely got to go with Joanderson Brito, man. He's just too amazing.
I think Joanderson Brito is going to win this one by being really aggressive and just overpowering Gomis down and probably latching up that sub. My worry here is Gomis staying away and being quick and kind of making Brito wear himself out, kind of tire himself out. But I think Brito is on such a roll here that I'm sorry, it's going to have to be the second guy from France that's taking the L here. Give me Anderson Brito by finish.
Yeah, I think Joanderson Brito's cardio is good too.
And I think Gomis is a little overrated. I don't know. So
he's been on a tear lately, Gomis. I mean, the guy's undefeated in his last 5 fights.
I know, but
either. But I mean, the opponents he's fought in the UFC though, Jarno Aarons, Francis Marshall. That was a split decision. I think Francis Marshall did win that fight. They gave it to Gomis and Yanis Gamuri. So but
Brito's a lot better than those guys, man. And this is when Jarno Aarons, I don't know, he started to look better after this fight. Jarno Aarons, he was pretty shitty in this fight, and he won a unanimous decision there, though. Sorry, a majority decision there. He won.
Right, but what I wanted to say though is that Joanderson Brito has fought the better competition in the UFC. I mean, okay, look at the competition. William Gomis, Jarno Aarons, Francis Marshall, and Yanis Gamuri. Look at the fights from Joanderson Brito. I'm just talking about the last 5. We're talking Andre Feely, Lucas Alexander, Weston Wilson, Jonathan Pierce, and Jack Shore. So way, way better competition. And if we go further back, there's even better names there.
I throw, yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, no, for sure. And
look, if we go further back, we're looking at Bill Algeo, even Diego Lopez he beat. Diego Lopez, and you saw how amazing Diego Lopez is.
That was on the Contender
Series. Brito beat Diego Lopez.
That was on the Contender Series, yeah.
It was on the Contender Series, but it's still
No, no, it's good.
UFC-ish. You know, it's still UFC-ish, right?
I'll tell you one thing. He's very lucky he came off Andre Fili after Fili came off a loss.
Yeah, according to your
The code, the crack,
code, yeah.
the Fili crack. Yeah.
All right, so Joanderson Brito, we both have him winning. I got him winning by finish. You?
Oh yeah, give me finish.
All right, so we're in agreement here. Let's move on up to the next fight. We got Nasruddin Imavov against Brendan Allen. This one here, I'm going to go with Nasruddin Imavov in this one. In France, I think that Nasruddin Imavov is just a wee bit better than Brendan Allen overall. Brendan Allen's good though. I'm not taking anything away from Brendan Allen. He's very good, but I think Imavov is just a better boxer and puncher, and his takedown defense is very, very good. He's also a tricky fighter, Imavov. He can fend off the takedowns, but he can land takedowns of his own. Imavov is also able to wrestle and grapple as well. He does have some jiu-jitsu as well. I would say that Brendan Allen's jiu-jitsu is better for sure. But I like that Imavov is going to be a bigger guy here. He's going to have the 1-inch height advantage there. And also in stature and size, I think Imavov is thicker and bigger. We'll see it. You guys will see it in the weigh-ins. But I like Imavov to get the win in this one. The Russian sniper coming off of a win against Jared Cannonier by knockout was really, really good. Roman Dolidze, too, is a very good grappler, too, and wrestler, and he beat him. And don't forget the Chris Curtis fight there. He was doing well there.
No, he would have lost that fight.
And the fight against Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin Buckley's a fucking beast, and he beat him. So I like Imavov in this one. He's gonna have a 1-inch height advantage. Same age, but whatever. I think that Imavov's just a bit better. Who you got?
I'm gonna have to go with Brendan Allen here, man.
I think Brendan Allen's a good dog, though. I'll admit. He'll be a dog list.
I think really, in my opinion, that the losses Brendan Allen has had were mostly his fault and his stupid mistakes. I think he's underrated, I think. I know a lot of people don't like him, like as a character, as a person. I really don't know too much about that stuff, but I think his ability to get the subs is really, really good. I think he's one of the better ones in the UFC when it comes to that. I think his striking is underrated as well. I think his problem is like being overconfident in his striking or going for striking when he should be trying to get him down. But I think Imavov's pace is going to allow Brendan Allen to muck it up a little and somehow find that sub and surprise Imavov. Somehow he's going to surprise Imavov here. I don't know how, but at some point, and I think he's going to lock up that sub somewhere, somehow. So give me Brendan Allen by sub here. And you remember, if you go back, like he beat Paul Craig, no problem after a while in round 3, but with a sub. He beat Bruno Silva with a sub. That's not that impressive, I guess. But if you remember that Andre Muniz fight, right? Where it's like, oh, what a Andre Muniz, just amazing BJJ. Like that's all they were talking about going into that fight, not really giving credit to Brendan Allen's sub ability, and he ends up getting the sub on Muniz. Remember? So this is, I got to go with Brendan Allen. I'm loving him as a dog here, but I understand that Imavov is very dangerous, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wins, but I have a feeling Brendan Allen's going to pull this one off.
I'll tell you that Brendan Allen will be on my official dog list for sure. That's going to be one of the dogs I'm going to be betting on for sure. But the pick is going to be Imavov for me. All right, we are at it now, folks. The main event of the main card here coming up. We have Renato Moicano, Money Moicano.
Money Moicano.
God of War, Benoit Saint Denis. I'm interested to hear who you have here, Andy.
Oh, I was kind of going back and forth a little bit until the words chimed in my mind of Money Moicano when he said, I can't lose. I can't. He can't. So I'm going to have to go with Renato Moicano here, man. He's more experienced by far. He goes for the kill as well. And I think that'll be enough to catch Benoit Saint Denis in a sub somehow as long as he's ultra safe on the feet. And Benoit Saint Denis can get very aggressive. And I think Moicano's on a real roll. And how can you deny a guy of your prediction in this fight when he says he can't lose, man? You know, when guys say they can't lose, sometimes it's even when they can lose or they're supposed to lose or on the verge of losing, like it doesn't happen, as we saw in the last fight against whoa,
Yeah, Jalen Turner. But
Jalen Turner.
listen, I'm gonna say something, man, and I think you guys remember if you
But
go back in the videos and watch how pissed off I was at Jalen
oh,
Turner.
oh, hold on, but Drew Dober as well. Remember that, oh, Drew Dober. A lot of people thought he would run through Moisiano with his power and everything, but he won a tough, unanimous decision. Man, grinded it out, right?
Mm.
And yeah, so look, I love Benoit Saint Denis, but I think there's something to those words, man. Moicano can't lose, man. So make me some money.
Here's the
Moicano
problem.
by submission.
The problem I have with Renato Moicano is his chin. Okay, now if you remember that fight against Jalen Turner, I was screaming my head off because I had Jalen Turner to win by finish, and he
I did too.
finished him. He knocked out. He knocked out Renato Moicano. Moicano was on the ground.
He won.
Instead of continuing moving forward while he saw him knock him down, instead of moving forward and continuing to beat the shit out of him and get the ref to stop it, what does Jalen Turner do? He admires his work and then turns around
He
and
wanted
starts
that walk-off shot.
celebrating to the crowd like as if it was a walk-off hit, a knockout, a flash walk-off knockout. Turns away from Money Moicano, turns his back to him and starts celebrating. And then, of course, Moicano gets up, wakes up from that knockout. He wakes up, gets up, and then jumps on the back of Jalen Turner and manages to get a submission. And it was very, very sad. Oh, no, he didn't sub him. He actually knocked him out. Sorry, by ground.
Knocked him out, man. Yeah.
He got on his back, took him down, and then ground and pounded his ass out. And Jalen Turner had the win in his hands. It was in the palm of his hands. He had the win right there in the palm of his hands, man. And he couldn't fucking finish him off. And that's the problem I have with Money Moicano. I feel that Benoit Saint Denis is a beast. He goes out there and he kills people. And I feel like if he lands a hard punch on Moicano, he will knock him down. And Benoit Saint Denis is not going to pull a Jalen Turner. He will hop right on top of Money Moicano.
What's up?
And continue beating the shit out of him or latching a submission. I cashed many checks on Benoit Saint Denis in the past to win by KO submission, and he has done it, man. In his last 5 fights, all been finishes. Knocked out Gabriel Miranda, subbed Ismael Bonfim, who was a guy that everybody was high on. Knocked out Thiago Moises and knocked out Matt Frivola, who's a tough motherfucker. So Benoit Saint Denis, and let's not forget that Benoit Saint Denis in his last fight, where he lost to Dustin Poirier, let's not forget he had the staph infection. And he was on antibiotics during that fight, so it slowed him down.
He had a big staph infection on his nose or something.
It was on his forehead. It was on his forehead. He had a big staph infection right on his forehead there. And he was on antibiotics. And that's why in that fight you saw him slow down. And he was gassing out because of the antibiotics that got him tired. Okay, so
stuff like this happens when you just have to win, so maybe something like that will happen again.
I got Benoit Saint Denis winning this one by KO submission. He's younger. We're talking a 7 age younger. Let's not forget Benoit Saint Denis is only 28 years old. They're going to be the same height. They're going to be the same reach, 1 inch reach advantage for Saint Denis. I like that about Saint Denis in this one. I think he gets to win, the younger guy in France too, in his hometown. He's going to put on a show. I think the UFC knows what they're doing here. They put Benoit Saint Denis against this guy for a reason because they know that he can finish him. I got Benoit Saint Denis winning by KO.
Because they have no other main event to put in France is why he's there. But he is good. He is good.
Yeah, he's been if it wasn't for that loss against Poirier, we wouldn't even be talking about this. He would be the super huge favorite.
Could be fighting for the title if he beat Poirier.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So I got Benoit Saint Denis winning by KO submission. I'll tell you one thing though, Moicano will make the dog list for sure in our betting show.
I
So
got him by sub Money Moicano. He can't lose, baby. Just
all
like
right, there you
just
have it,
like
folks.
just like us at KMMA, eh? We can't lose. No way.
Exactly. So there you have it, folks. Those are our early predictions for the main card. Me and Andy O only in disagreement in a couple of fights in this whole entire card, so that's not bad. Stay tuned on Thursday for our final prediction show. Here we go.
KMMA, baby.
Peace out, folks. KAMMA. Like and subscribe.